You never know what your capabilities are unless you start, right? You can always have this idea, this dream, this goal that you want to do, but if you don't take action, you will never know what comes of it, right? Hi, my name is Noe, and my business name is Millennial Threadz. I have a Ricoma forehead embroidery machine. I was born and raised in East LA, and I've been here in California my whole life. As growing up, my whole dream was really to make my own clothing brand. And once I got into the industry, I was doing white toner laser printing, and that pretty much had its limit to only apparel. I saw that there was a real high demand for other stuff other than what I was doing. And one of those things in particular was hats, and that's pretty much what I've been doing and focusing on. So I initially started Millennial Threadz January of 2020, which was pretty much pre-COVID, right? And I know a lot of people had different experiences with COVID. For me personally and my business, it helped me grow so much that I saw the need for embroidery machines, right? And I decided to go with the Ricoma MT-1501, which is a single head embroidery machine. And mainly the reason why I decided to do that was because of its price point. As an entry-level embroiderer, you always look for like the most cost-efficient thing that you can get, and Ricoma gave that opportunity, so I went ahead and did that. So my very first project when I got my embroidery machine was a hat that I did for a friend of mine. And it was a funny story because when I got the embroidery machine in my first project, I had about 20 people in here looking at that thing go, because everybody was amazed about what the machine was capable of doing. And since like that first thing, I have a dollar that's hung on my wall, and I've hanged that just because it's a motivation from where I first started, right, my first order, to where I'm at now. And as I grew with Ricoma, right, and using my MT-1501, the amount of orders I was getting, late nights, just having to be here all day. So that's when I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and go with the forehead. And then since then, business has been great. I've been having back-to-back orders, and people love it. So initially, the way I would get my customers was pretty much word of mouth, right? Friends of mine that had friends that wanted something done, be like a change of demand, right? His friend said this, and this is how I got my orders, right? But it got to a point where I started working with local groups like bandas that, here in the area that really wanted to showcase their logo and design. And then once one group got it, that's pretty much all I do now. Now I do, hats for all the local grupos here, bandas that are here. And because of the amount of followers that they have, other people see it, right? So now I have, small business hitting me, contacting me to get hats done for their business, small brand owners, small businesses like mine that want hats. And then when I really got into social media, I would say 90% of my customers come from social media, right? And then the other 10% are just referrals through them, right? So social media for me has been a big presence. There's DMs every day about people wanting to work, and then obviously with the quality that Ricoma puts out, it gives me good products to display. Digitizing for me as a whole has been one of the most crucial parts about my business, right? When I first initially got into the embroidery business, I was trying to do my own digitizing. Personally, I felt like I was just kind of going through it and not really getting it down as I should have, right? So that's when I decided to start outsourcing my digitizing services, and it definitely helped out, especially for those complicated ones. But now that I've been into the embroidery business for quite some time, knowing how to digitize in-house will save you, time, money. Like I said, personally, digitizing is a key focus for any embroiderer who wants to get into the embroidery industry. The main reason why I decided to go with the MT-1501 and any other single embroidery machine that maybe Ricoma has to offer was just because of the versatility in colors, right? Being able to offer, multicolor, embroidery options in just one run was kind of a no-brainer for me, right? And then the reason why I decided to upgrade to a four-head embroidery machine and maybe not like a 2 or a 6-head, I felt like just forehead was just like the sweet spot, right? Financially and I think production-wise, it just made sense for me at the time. I'm able to get them out faster. Customers are happier, If I get last-minute orders for a large bulk order, right, I'm able to meet my deadlines. Like I said, one of the best things I've done so far. But now it's gotten to a point where business is doing good, orders are coming in, but again, I'm falling behind, not, spending time with my family, missing things that are really important to me, right? which is why I think now is like the perfect time to get a 12 head, just because I feel like the work is there, right? It allows me also to take on even larger orders, right? Companies can ask for a lot more from me, and I'm able to produce, I'm young, I still want to spend time with my family, I still want to go out, and enjoy my time. And honestly, Ricoma allows me to do that with the price point that it has with the embroidery machines. But to do that right, I do have to upgrade the place that I'm in right now, because as a whole, I'm just outgrowing it, right? And luckily, Ricoma is there with me, right, to grow with me. So when I transition to a new place, I'm hoping that a 12-head embroidery machine comes with me. My experience overall with Ricoma has been honestly more than I expected, right? They've been in touch with me since my MT-1501. When I did upgrade to my MT-1504, or like the 4-head embroidery machine that I have now, they sent one of the teams out here to train me on everything that I needed to do. And that honestly put me, I think, ahead of my competition, right? Knowing the ins and outs of the machine, little tips and tricks that you won't know unless you've been in the trade for years. So they honestly went above and beyond, teaching me how to really use everything about the machine. One of the biggest advice that I have for anybody trying to get into the embroidery business: do not compare yourself to others, right? You're going to compare yourself to other people's work who've been doing it for years, right? And that honestly puts a lot of people down, right? It is a learning curve. You do have to invest your time into it, right? Businesses take a long time to grow, and as long as you're determined and you see your end goal, right? And just don't give up on yourself. You never know what your capabilities are unless you start, right? You can always have this idea, this dream, this goal that you want to do, but if you don't take action, you will never know what comes of it, right? One of my favorite things right now about my experience throughout this whole journey that I've had is honestly seeing others who are getting into the industry grow, working with small businesses, working with people who are doing their own clothing brands, content creators, whatever the case may be, right? Just seeing them grow as a whole, right? And knowing that I was a part of it somehow or one way, right? It makes me feel good as a decorator, right? To see other businesses prosper, right? And just me being a part of it. Ricoma has been my inspiration to be bigger and push myself harder every year.